Hey, thanks for stopping by the channel. Make sure that you are subscribed and that you are checking out the bell icon that's down there somewhere and that you're getting notifications from when my content drops. In this particular video, we're going to be talking about the United States Postal Service. And you're sitting here saying to yourself, all right, TC, you've been a little off the wall with some of your topics in the past, but what on earth are you going to be talking about the Postal Service for? I mean, aren't they just an innocuous mail delivery function of the United States government? And yes, but they're also apparently now an intelligence gathering agency. Think CIA or the FBI or the DSA. It's DSA. What am I thinking of? I don't. The defense initiatives. There's all sorts of stuff out there. There's so many alphabet agencies that work on intelligence gathering. Department of Homeland Security. They like to gather intelligence on people because we don't have enough alphabet agencies in the United States. But anyway, they launched a program called ICOP, and the ICOP is how exactly should we read it? Internet Covert Operations Program. So what is the Internet Covert Operations Program? Well, this program launched once again by your local postal law enforcement officers. Yes, that's sarcasm. Went about on social media gathering and distributing information about people planning on taking part in protests and rallies. Now, if these people are planning violence, if they're planning illegal activities, they should be dealt with if they're convicted. But why is the post office gathering information on people? The post office. Are they ultimately, are they a law enforcement agency? I'm sure they have postal fraud and everything that they deal with, but why on earth is the United States Postal Service gathering information on American citizens who are planning to take part in rallies and protests? And they're very clear that it's right-wing leaning individuals. But they really like to use that terminology, right-wing leaning. Because it's scary, those right-wing terrorists. They've been warning everybody about right-wing terrorists for a very long time, and now we're going to gather information on them by any means necessary, even the Postal Service. And then think about that too, that the Postal Service is delving into a realm that they have really no reason to be delving into, which is social media, Facebook, Parler, Gab, Twitter, you name it. MeWe, whatever the case might be. They're gathering this information and they're turning it over, and they're basically, and there again, there's no right to privacy on social media. You should not expect that social media is going to protect your privacy by any stretch of the imagination for anybody. And trust me, I'm well aware of just how much people like to use social media to try and silence you. Your opinions are not popular. You have said some things that have made us look very bad. We will shut you down. So there's a disturbing reality to this, though, that a non-law enforcement, and yes, the U.S. Postal Inspection Service is the primary law enforcement, crime prevention, and security arm of the United States Postal Service. But I want you let that sink in. Their job, the U.S. Postal Inspection Service, is to work as the law enforcement arm and crime prevention and security arm of the U.S. Postal Service. Well, actually, here's what they say. As such, the U.S. Postal Inspection Service has federal law enforcement officers, postal inspectors, who enforce approximately 200 federal laws to achieve the agency's mission: protect the U.S. Postal Service and its employees, infrastructure, and customers, enforce the laws that defend the nation's mail system from illegal or dangerous use, and ensure the public trust in the mail. That's their job. Why are they getting into social media content. Moreover, why are they getting into social media content that has absolutely nothing to do with actual illegal activities? Now they'll say, well, we see this thing here and it shows some people talking about maybe planning on doing some things. Now, that's what they've released, but how many people have been spied on by the USPS? How many people have been tracked and followed by the US Postal Inspection Service, by mail cops? All right? How many mail cops have they dedicated to spying on social media instead of doing their job? All right? Their job, their function as members of the United States Postal Service is to protect the Postal Service, to enforce laws regarding mail. Now, let this sink in. Just think about this for a while. Just steep in this reality. There are over 200 federal laws, or approximately 200 federal laws, to achieve the agency's mission. 200 federal laws regarding the United States Postal Service and the United States Postal Inspection Service. 200. Like, how many of those have you broke in the last year? I don't know, you know. Hopefully none, and hopefully none intentionally. But why are taxpayer dollars being wasted by the Postal Service to track you and spy on you for being a dissident, for being a wrong thinker in our culture today? There's no mention that they spied on Black Lives Matter, which is a radical, Marxist, revolutionary organization. There's no indication that the USPS Inspection Service has dared to spy on the other radical leftist Marxist organizations, like all the Antifa pukes out there. Or what about the radical Black Power groups? And they exist. The New Black Panthers are a radical Marxist Black Power group. The New Black Liberation Army is a radical Marxist Black Power group. There is the Brown, I think they refer to them as the Brown Berets, which are a radical Marxist Hispanic terrorist organization. Are they getting spied on? Or are we only spying on wrong thinkers on the more right-leaning side of the spectrum? And why is that? Why, pray tell, is that? Well, we all know why. It's because the only people that are now deemed dangerous are people who aren't towing the current societal norms. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is precisely why the Constitution exists. This, ladies and gentlemen, is precisely why, quite frankly, we have got to do something about the overabundance of laws, both federal and state and local. There are too many laws. There's too many laws. There isn't a day that you're not running afoul of something. I guarantee it. I guarantee you're breaking numerous laws every day, and you're not even aware of it. It reminds me of the old episode of, I think it was WKRP in Cincinnati, where one of the main characters of the show freaked out because they removed a tag from a mattress or a pillow. And they were absolutely certain that the mattress police were going to come and arrest them for removing a tag. Now, sarcasm, it's snark, it's hyperbole meant to be funny. But see, in every funny statement, in every joke, there's a thread of truth. And here's the thread of truth about this operation from the United States Postal Service. And let's just internet, one more time, let's go. Internet Covert Operations Program, ICOP, the Internet Covert Operations Program. Here's the thread of truth. It's the exact same tactics used by the Stasi. It's the exact same tactics used by the secret police of every communist country that's ever graced the earth. I shouldn't say graced, cursed the earth with its presence. It's the exact same tactics of every secret police organization, of every authoritarian fascist regime that has ever existed. Ever. It's undeniable. The Internet Covert Operations Program, ICOP, by the United States Postal Service, manned and operated by the United States Postal Service Inspection Service, was targeting the right, traditional, conservative, patriotic, constitutional, American-loving people, targeting them because somehow they're more dangerous than the massive amount of Marxist leftist organizations out there that are literally burning down cities. Okay, not literally burning down entire cities, but metaphorically burning down their cities. And in some cases, burning down neighborhoods, who are communicating via social media. Undeniable. You've got to let that sink in. I wanted to use a word like moron or idiot here, but someone I love said I shouldn't do that because it's not very nice. And they're probably right. Our government's out of control. Without a doubt, without any question, our government is absolutely out of control. End of story. This isn't merely just a subjective idea of, well, it could be wrong. It might be wrong. This is literally wrong. It's wrong. It's 100% wrong. Fundamentally, foundationally, 100% wrong. It has to end. But it won't. And even if we cut the head off of this snake, the ICOP, the Internet Covert Operations Program, they'll come up with something else. And if it's not the United States Postal Service, it'll be some other arm of the federal government that's going to come in and dictate how you're supposed to live and target us wrong thinkers on the right. Next thing you know, they're going to be opening your mail and scanning it for words that you shouldn't be using. They might be doing that already. I don't know. Why should I have any faith that they're not doing it already? Why should I have any trust that the United States Postal Service Inspection Service, the law enforcement arm of the Federal Postal Service, isn't already doing that? How do we know they're not? How do we know that they're not? Don't tell me, well, they would need a warrant for that. Don't tell me that our federal government has never violated warrants for things like wiretapping. I don't know. Watergate ring a bell? And there's a lot to Watergate. There's a lot of things, with that. But this is dangerous. It's perilous. It's an ideological war. And they're bringing everything they can to bear on the people that they have deemed to be the enemies. That's me and you. If you're watching this right now, you're a dissident. Do you understand? Watching this makes you a dissident. Me doing this makes me a dissident. My governor has declared that I'm a dissident. Not me personally. He didn't say T.C. Pearson is a dissident, but he declared that I'm a dissident, that I'm an insurrectionist, for no other reason than he wrote into his numerous executive orders from March of 2020 until now, in numerous executive orders, that anybody who encourages someone to not comply with his executive orders is guilty of a crime. He said that. And you know what? I do not deny that I've told people I will not comply with orders telling me that I can't have a certain number of people in my house. I've told people that. I won't comply with that. According to my governor, that makes me a criminal. That makes me a dissident. That means that the United States Postal Service Inspection Service could use the Internet Covert Operations Program to track me and have, in turn, whatever they find about me on social media over to somebody else. For what? What crime have I really committed? I'm just a wrong thinker. I'm just a wrong thinker. That's it. That's all that's wrong with me. This is sickening. And quite frankly, it should upset you to no end. But there's no accountability for the federal government anymore. And it's only going to get worse. Because now they've got Biden in their pocket. Kamala Harris is in their pocket. They're all on board with this kind of crap. Once again, you should be sickened that this happened. But the vast majority of American people won't even notice. They won't even care. It's not affecting me. I don't understand. It's time that we wake up, people. The government is not on your side. It's not. The bureaucrats in the government, elected servants for the most part in the government, appointed servants in the government, are not on your side. If you are a traditionalist and a constitutionalist, the government sees you as a dissident, as an enemy, as someone who has no rights, as someone who should be spied on, as someone who should be reported for wrongthink. And eventually they're going to come for you. They're going to come for you in one way or another. Just imagine that day when the United States Postal Service Inspection Service knocks on your door and says, "We're here to arrest you and take you into custody, not for anything you did with the mail, but because you said you're going to go to a rally and we think that there might be violence there." I mean, they'll turn it over to somebody else. But just think about that. Have you now or have you ever been a male dissident? I'm sorry. I shouldn't be making fun of it, but I don't know what else to do. This should disgust you, America. And if this doesn't outrage you, you're just a sheep who thinks you have to agree with everything that government says and does. And until next time, Sic Semper Tyrannis.